Started. So good morning. This is Prepping the Objective, and I want to thank each one of you. You've had a chance now to become part of Better Each Day, which is the group that we really just kind of organized over the last couple of days. So thank you each for being here. As you can tell from what we've been doing, we were testing out just a private messenger group, and a lot of the messages that we were going back and forth with each other were constantly pinging other people's phones. And so they asked, hey, is there a way that that can happen or not happen or something like that? Because they wanted to be updated. So we're going to reduce the number of messages going into our messenger group. And we shifted everybody into Better Each Day. So that's where we'll do our posting and our meeting, what do you want to call it, our event logs and everything. So that way you can come on, jump in there as your schedule permits, but hopefully it doesn't ping your phone too much. So how many of you get a ping from me that comes both on your WhatsApp as well as Messenger as well as Facebook? Do you get all three? Or okay, Steve's getting that. Okay, Tony's getting that. Okay, Francois getting that. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is figure out which one. Hang on a second here. Linda's having a problem connecting here. Hang on just a second, folks. I want to make sure she gets on here. Maybe she just got in. That's Karen. Karen just got in. Okay, there we go. All right, so what we do here at Prepping the Objectives, obviously we're going to expand this coming in 2022. So we're going to be focusing on the Rubicon performance system, which is something that I haven't taught in about the last 5 years. And some of you might have tracked over the weekend. I was out doing a workout down the Deschutes River and taking a little time to think about how we're going to do that. About 40,000 people have downloaded my training program off of Rubicon. It's gonrubicon.com. That is the website that I have, and we've done, I basically just gave away the training program for free. So about 40,000 downloads have occurred over the last 5 years. It's just something that I haven't had the time to be able to focus on that and everything else I've been doing with you. Many of you are co-authors with Matt and me. And so that has just been taking up so much of my time, and I want to be able to actually retrain and offer that program out again. So we're going to be designing and organizing that here in January. So some of you will be able to be on the live meetings, but I want it to be available for you since we have the actual curriculum already set up. It's designed to be a 10-week program. Hang on just a second here. One second, folks. I just got to get. I want to make sure I'm having a couple problems with a few folks that aren't getting in here right now. Hang on one second with me. Let's see, get both of those in. Well, always when you need it to copy fast, it doesn't copy fast enough. Hang on here. All right, there we go. Okay, good. All right, so we'll be putting the Rubicon system together and presenting it in a way that you can either present and participate live, or if you can't and the schedule doesn't permit, you'll be able to access it. So we'll create this where the replays will be on stream in YouTube, and you'll be able to access that and use that. So if you're planning on using a training program to help you get yourself focused with regimen and ritual that will help you double your performance in 2022, then I'm going to make that commitment to you that I will teach the system. It's already available, like I said, on gonrubicon.com. So you can go to the Pathfinder tab there, and you'll see all the manuals that are already available in PDF format. It's something that I created. It's about 25 years of my background in philosophy, military history, psychology, and leadership. And everything that I've ever learned, I put it together in one system, and I taught it to several thousand individuals. And as you saw, kind of my thinking back through as I was looking back through my basic training manual on the compass, which is the tool that we use to help you focus each week. Then, I kind of remembered that we had gone through that system many times, and there was about an 80% dropout rate. And if you've ever been an instructor, if you've ever been a professor, if you've ever been someone that cared about other people at a deep, passionate level, and you see people come into the program, you start sharing with them, you get their personal details and you understand what they're fighting with, the demons that are in their closets, and you start helping them work through that. And as an instructor or teacher, you get personally involved. And then to see those individuals 80% of the time give up and walk away and not push through on a 10-week program, it's worse than a horse kick in the gut. I don't know if you've ever done that. How many of you ever taught and had individuals that you cared about in a group just decide not to push through and finish? Okay, it's something that, you know, I will tell you that it's to me, because I put everything into it, it just makes you, it's made me quit several times. It's made me walk away because it takes so much out of you to give 150% of yourself. And then to see other people getting close to the finish line, see them having breakthroughs, seeing them changing their mindset and understanding new things. And then all of a sudden they disappear into the weeds. And, you know, like my dad used to tell me, you know, you can only carry, it's called a dead man's carry. You know, when you put, you know, another Marine or a soldier on your back and you carry, you can only go so far that way. And the problem is, and this is something that Matt teaches all the time, is you can't help other people decide to be successful. They have to decide to be successful. You can give them the framework, you can give them the path, you can give them the tools, you can give them the mindset. But at the end of the day, who has to do it? Each person has to do it, okay? So the concept of Better Each Day is a program that we will make available. It is something that will give you all the details, but guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to come to the watering trough, okay? You can't make a horse drink, okay? But you can provide the water, you can give them the tools, you can give them the techniques, you can give them the mindsets that already produced success, and we can show you who's done it, whether it's a military history or some current leader or someone that's in business. We could show you the commonalities and the mindset, and that's what I put together in the manual that's called P5. The tool that I created is Compass, okay? So Compass is how to navigate your life. It's life navigation, that's what it is. So here's what we want to do. The first and foremost thing that we do every single Monday morning is like this. We meet together, we lock arms, and we focus together on number one, gratefulness. Being grateful and being thankful based on Sean Aker from Harvard University gives you a 31% boost in your performance. Why is that? Because when you focus your mind in a positive attitude, that changes everything on how your mind is actually functioning. So the first thing we want to do here is everyone can pop yourself off of mute, and we want to go round table here. So I'm not going to make you do it, but if you want to jump in here and share one thing that you are thankful for, that you're grateful for today, then that's what we want to open this for, that we all do this together because we have everyone here from around the world. So I'm going to start off here. Yesterday was a fantastic day. I got a chance to go out and do a 3-miler out on the river and hang out and think about what we're going to do in 2022. And I had that moment that I just felt an extreme level of, I told Amy when I came back, it was an extreme level of love and intuition that 2022 is going to be a fantastic year. And being able to know that I'm jumping into a commitment to teach you guys everything I know about everything I've ever learned in life. It's going to give you every angle and every opportunity to succeed is something that just gave me a great warm feeling inside. So I want to tell you each, with Christmas coming up here at the end of the week, I want you to have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I want you to know that I love you. I love you, and I appreciate you sincerely, each one of you, because you showing up here are demonstrating that you care about not just yourself becoming better, but you care about yourself becoming better so that you can help other people overcome whatever it is that's standing in their life. So I'm grateful for you. That's what I am. So next person, who wants to jump in here and tell me what you're grateful for?
Well, this time I will. Can you hear me?
I can, Steve.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. I am grateful for being able to channel my mindset, because a lot of times when you're on a workout regimen and that, you just don't want to do it, and you have to say, okay, just do it anyway. It's almost like you're fearful of what are you going to do next, and it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to do it today. My body hurts. You know, I got a challenge coming up January 3rd, and I've been going on since October, every day, nonstop. And it's like, okay, is this the day I rest? I said, oh, I'm going to rest today. your mind is just going back and forth, back and forth. And then when I get out of bed, I said, I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
Just do it. So you channel your mindset to be able to do something. I'm so grateful that the good Lord provides me with that wisdom in that, because I always ask for wisdom every day, because
Yeah.
if you don't ask, you're never going to have it. So that's what I'm grateful for today.
Thank you, Steve. Good job there.
Welcome.
Lillian and then Tony.
Thank you, Steve. I am grateful for the gift of life. For me, it's been a journey to be able to jump out of bed and be excited about getting out of bed, because having been paralyzed for 7 years and not being able to get out of bed was something else. But knowing that I'd been given 6 months to live, now 19 years on, I'm alive. It's something that I cannot even begin to explain how the feeling is in me. But I've been working with a personal trainer who is helping me with my right foot that I've been dragging, because, there's nothing I could have done. Doctors had said, look, we are actually surprised that you are walking. So whatever bit you can't sort out, you just have to get on with the flow.
Yeah.
But I knew that God had a better plan. So I came up, my consultant said there's a guy who does anatomy in motion, which is a new technology that they have learned. It's only 1,000 people who do it globally. And it happens that one of the guys is based in my city.
Mm.
So I bumped into him at the gym and he said, okay, I'll help you. And he's been helping me. And he says all the parts of the body that have not been recognizing that they need to do something is because when the parts died, no one activated those parts. So
Okay.
he's helping me. And my right leg is working much, much better. I'm not having to use the crutch. I walk independently and I get excited to just get outside, to be able to walk with my 2 feet, with my core stability functioning properly. Because physiotherapists had run out of ideas. They kept on saying, it's your core stability, it's your core stability. But this guy honestly has just like been magical. I've been working with him for 3 months and he would fiddle with my feet and he would say, this is the part that's not working. And he could see, I could tell, because when I stepped my foot, I didn't have the balance. I used 4% of my right foot, and yet the whole body is supposed to sustain by 2 feet. So really, to me, I keep talking about this walking and people think, what's the big deal? But if you haven't walked, it's a big deal. And for me, I'm grateful to God that I'm able to do the thing. I'm a very independent person. The older I get frightened that I will end up in a wheelchair, and I don't want to be dependent on my children. I want to be able to do my own thing until I reach 90 without having to say, oh, please come and give me water, give me this, give me that. So really grateful for the gift of life, grateful to God for remembering me,
Right.
because I've been able to see my children grow up, because this happened when I was 42, now I'm 61, and I've seen children married. I've got 4 grandchildren, 2 were born this year. So all that, I can only say glory be to God. So thank you so much for the encouragement.
Awesome. Yeah, Lillian, I saw a picture of you on Facebook. I think you were doing a pull down bar there in the gym. You looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I thought, man, that's just awesome to see you doing that. Congratulations. I'm going to jump over here. Go ahead. I'm going to jump over to Tony and then Nisa and then Patty. Go ahead, Tony.
So I'm thankful for just the individuals I have met at a little restaurant in town. They're older individuals, but they put time into me every day. And I really enjoy being able to say hi to them every morning. And one of them actually came up to me and said that she can see God emanating out of me.
Wow.
So that just actually like really lifted me up.
Absolutely. How cool is that? That's awesome. Congratulations, Tony. What a cool thing. Nisa, I'm gonna let you and then Patty.
Okay, thank you. But I'm always grateful for this group. I'm just so grateful to be part of this group. But more, and also yesterday I had a MRI scan quite out of town, so I had to find my way there. But I'm grateful to the Uber driver, because on my way back, I was feeling sick and he was very, very kind. He gave me a bag, he stopped. you know, he checked up on me. He asked me if I needed water. So I'm just grateful for his kindness, you know.
Right.
He didn't need to be that kind. So that's what I'm
Awesome.
grateful for.
Isn't that cool? Sometimes when people, there are those few out there that help you in unexpected ways, kind of, what's the right word, it gives you faith again that there are good people in the world, okay? Because we see so many things, we see people acting in such odd ways, especially since the pandemic has kicked off, whatever, a year and 9 months ago. And, you know, what I have always seen, and my father taught me, is you always find out who someone is when you fight them, okay? It's an old Chinese saying, okay? You never know who someone is until you fight them. Well, really what they're trying to say is you never know who someone really is until things go bad, okay? Anybody can do right and act right and smile and good morning and all that when everything's peachy, okay? But when things go awry, your true colors, who you are, your character inside really gets exhibited. And that to me is really wonderful that you got a chance to see somebody being so kind to you when they didn't have to be. So wonderful.
Yes, and I made sure that, you know, I wrote the comments down and I gave him a tip and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. So good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Patty, jump in here and share with us. I see your Christmas tree behind you there with some Christmas cheer. Good stuff.
Yep. Well, Merry Christmas to everybody, and just like everybody, grateful for this group. But had some my oldest granddaughter, who's 15, came and stayed with me. I hadn't seen her in 3 months, basically, and been around her. And she's one that pretty much lived with us for her first 5 years. So I mean, it's just was good to spend time with her. And then I've just got to throw this out here to give a little bit of humor to everybody today. So I'm grateful for grace on myself, because I don't know how I did it, but I did Christmas cards to 200 people and put the year 2019 on it. It wasn't an eventful year.
That's okay. You did a good job.
And when I first, you know, sent tons of cards out, and when I realized it this weekend, I mean, I'm telling you, a few months ago, it would have made me sick. It would have been like, oh my gosh, I would have been so hard. And it would have been like weeks, but I just laughed at myself and was like, you know, let's just have some grace here. And I'm grateful that I just didn't let it get to me and
for sure
play games with me. If some people are going to have fun with it, but it is what it is.
You can just tell them that was your subliminal intent, that you were trying to reverse the clock back to 2019 when things were still normal and we were griping about common things. And no one had even talked about, except in some dystopian novel, that there was going to be some global pandemic. So good for you. I think you're doing the right thing.
My kids said, one of them said, well, you just wanted to forget the last 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Wouldn't that be cool if we could wind the clock back? Right.
We're going to go with that.
Perfect. I love that. Yeah, that's good stuff there. All right. So we've got a couple minutes here. I want to let 2 or 3 other people jump in here and share with us what you're grateful for. And then I want to introduce Joe to you guys. Anybody else want to take yourself off mute? Jump in here. Linda, come on.
Hi, I like the rest of the women said, I'm so grateful to be with you guys. And I'm in a car because I dropped one of my daughters off at a doctor's appointment and I was having trouble with the phone connection. So I'm grateful that you helped me with that. And I got onto you guys. I really look forward to the mornings with the family. And reflecting over the last year, or definitely 2 years, I'm very grateful that my immediate family is all healthy. I'm healthy at an advanced age, and that my extended family is all healthy. So I feel very blessed and grateful that during this difficult time of health with most people, or a lot of people, that we've been all able to manage to stay healthy and well and being able to move on. So my daughters are home for Christmas, and so, except for doctor's appointments here and there, and the high schooler that we had to borrow the car from to be able to even go, we're all out and well, and being very grateful for that. Looking forward to a wonderful 2022 like you are. I think this is going to be just a fabulous year coming up.
It is going to be fabulous. Every time we find, again, I share with you so many of these little quips that my father, which turned out to be my Marine drill instructor, for 17 years. I think I went to boot camp longer than most of the guys that actually wear the Marine blood stripes. But he was always constantly giving me these little insights. And I don't even think he knew how well I was listening. I was recording them because I had such admiration for him. But the concept that he was teaching me was the test of a human being is what it takes to stop you. You got to think about that for a second. The test of a human being is what it takes to stop you. And going back to what we were saying earlier, when everything's peachy, everybody can do good stuff, and that's awesome to do that. But who we really are inside, the colors that we really fly, the character, the old English term is called metal, M-E-T-T-L-E, the metal that we truly have inside of us, that it's our infrastructure, the character of what we really are gets exhibited when we're tested. And I believe, like many people trying to find the purpose for life, whether you're reading, as you can see back here, one of my favorite books, Man's Search for Meaning, by Dr. Viktor Frankl. I've read it, I don't know how many times. Every time I read it again, my mind is just capturing new things, understanding the difficulties that he went 6 years through Nazi death camps and surviving as a psychologist, as an Austrian psychologist, and going through that and how he went through it, the mental games that he was able to play that I share with you through the Rubicon system, because I incorporated it. Anyone that can go through a Nazi death camp and go through the starvation and being emaciated and the torture and the cold and the disease and all the things they had to go through and the unknown of, is this ever going to end? And watching other strong men right next to you fall apart psychologically and run at the fence and get shot by, the gun tower, right while you're standing there waiting to get your watery pea soup for dinner. How do you go through that? How do you come through the other side? And he created the third school of psychology that's known as logotherapy. So he made an impact in the world by taking a horrible event and continuing to focus his mind for 6 consecutive years through the most horrible event. And when you take that in comparison and you look at our difficulties in life that all of us are sitting here and maybe complaining about, feeling sorry for each other, for ourselves, and having a little pity party, it helps you get something that's a little more framed up as a point of comparison. So when you realize that one human being can go through something so absolutely impossible, like there are other stories out there, and then each of us gets to rise and lift ourselves to the next level of performance. Because the cool thing about it, the idea is if one human being can do it, all human beings can do it. So the challenges that each one of us have, when we turn them around, we don't look at them like we all feel sometime of kind of falling down like that 3-year-old in the middle of the mall and having a meltdown. And we realize that we're being tested to find out what our metal is by our creator, to find out what we're really made of. And so it becomes a challenge. It's an opportunity to perform. So that's where I want to give you that perspective here. Now, I know some of you've got to jump off because we are right coming up at the 30-minute marker. Some of you are listening in from work or you're driving or whatever. But I wanted to say thank you each for jumping in here and giving us gratefulness. If you will think about doing this practice, like Sean Aker talks about in Happiness Advantage, if you will think about and practice this in the beginning of your meetings, whether you're sitting at a conference table or a Zoom call, or just meeting with someone on a one-on-one basis. And if you begin with that, I promise you, you will see a 30% jump in your performance. You will change the framework of your discussion, whether that's meeting a new prospect for the first time or talking with someone that you've been doing business with for decades. Obviously, we want to do that when we sit down at the holiday table, because if we're all sitting there at the table and holding hands together, connecting with our family, we all have so many things to be grateful for. And so just remember to incorporate that. We'll continue to do this every single Monday morning or whatever time it is, what time zone you're in. So what I wanted to do now is I want to jump over and introduce Joe. And Joe has an online digital company that I've met through his associate, Phil Harrington. And he has created digital content that at first, when I looked at this, I thought, if any of you know what Google My Business is, does anybody know what Google My Business is? If you've run a local retail operation, Joe is an expert in this. And if you want to be able to be recognized in a local area, I know many of you are authors and you want to be able to connect with people on a local basis, whether that's a radio station, television station, local podcast, or something local that someone is doing business and they want to have you in to speak to their group. But I found that he has a litany of other courses that have all come into the same university. And so I was spending time with Phil the other day. He was talking about Joe's insight about how you can upgrade your Facebook profile, how you can upgrade your LinkedIn profile, how you can have more people seeing you, and understanding the inside of how all these algorithms work is a huge benefit. So Joe, I'm going to let you jump in here and introduce yourself, and then tell us a little about Do Work University. Jump in here, Joe.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
Good morning.
So, yeah, over the last 25 years, I've run 10 businesses. I came from corporate, working for big companies, doing marketing and sales.
Right.
And when I started doing it for a small business, I realized that I didn't have millions and millions of dollars to spend every month on ads and to get my
Right.
branding out there. So I needed to do it organically. And so, yeah, over the last 10 years, I've really focused on teaching other people what I learned and what works. Obviously, technology changes, so I constantly have to stay up on the new algorithms and new technology coming out. But that's what I do. Everything from Facebook to TikTok to, Instagram, LinkedIn, Alignable, you name it. If you want presence, especially local, that's what I teach people how to do, is really get that local eyeballs on your business, on your offerings, what you are, what you're offering and what you do, who you are as a person. Really, you can bring that through with social platforms so that you'll build that following. And it's kind of interesting because people think, oh, I'll never be a Kardashian, and you don't have to be.
Right.
Really, it's really what your goals are. Backtrack it to what kind of activity you need to do online and where you need to go.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I was thinking about showing my dance moves off on TikTok, but Amy told me I couldn't do that. I think everybody's probably saved from that, because that would probably crash the platform in a bad way. But on a realistic basis, Joe, each one of us are at different levels. We want to take our story, and that's one of the things that, as you're getting a chance to meet these group of amazing individuals, and there's many, many more that can't be here live that watch the replay. And so each one of us are always looking, and like you said, Joe, we're up against this wall of, we're already taxed each day. We're already timed out with all of the things that we're doing in life. Many of us, have what I call, like you said, a corporate job, we're a day job. And then we also have a side hustle that we're building on the side and trying to build, recognition, or build viewership, or build some way of what we call brand recognition of what we're doing to try to create clients that we are trying to solve problems for them. And in order to focus on solving their problem, we have to care first. We have to demonstrate that we give a damn. Okay. And that's the first and foremost. It's not here's what my product is, let me sell you something. That's what causes everybody to do this. It's, I'm here to tell you my story. This is how my life has changed. And as you're building that brand, you want to be able to get that into their news feeds. You want it to be able to get them to recognize and start seeing you on a consistent basis. So we've talked about that before, but I'll tell you, Joe, I can't keep up with everything. I mean, I feel like I'm already, I need, 48 hours to finish every day, and that's without any sleep. So, your university has so many different things. And tell me about the format. The format is, it's broken out in bite-sized pieces. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, I used to do pre-COVID. It's kind of interesting how that changed things, right? So people would come, I'd get 300, 400, 500, 1,000 people to come to a half day or a full day or a 2-day, event where
Sure.
I do education. And now, in March of last year, we moved everything to Zoom. Wisely, we did, because our competitors are out of business. They refunded people rather than moving them to Zoom.
Wow.
And so, from there, I had a guy on my team that just pushed me to move everything to kind of an e-learning type of environment. Number one was, our goal with our business was to impact 1 million business owners.
Right.
And we can't do that in small workshops of 300 people.
Sure.
Math just doesn't make any sense. So
Right.
even on Zoom, where I'm getting 200-300 people on a Zoom, it just doesn't make the math didn't make sense. So we've made it more consumable, broken into 5-minute segments, kind of like what you're talking about. Everybody's so busy.
Sure.
You're running, and you're like, all I have is 5 minutes. It's all I got,
Right.
And so we broke the thing down. So we'll just take LinkedIn. I've got LinkedIn up over here, and I'm kind of looking for you guys on LinkedIn. And what I've done with LinkedIn is created it so that you can take 5 minutes a day or in between stuff. You're in between calls. Somebody doesn't show up on a Zoom, whatever. You can jump into Do Work University, pull up your LinkedIn profile, and do that 5 or 10 minutes worth of work on there, and then
Wow.
bounce out. So, and you're right. People don't know how to focus on all these platforms. And
Right.
really, what I do is backtrack from the customer. So, if your customers, you're doing business to business, and your focus is there, LinkedIn is for you.
Sure.
If your focus is, stay-at-home moms, and maybe that's your story is, I overcame a physical limitation in my life, and
Sure.
this is, back to Man's Search for Meaning. Those type of stories
Mhm.
are so important, right? And
Okay.
and you just had somebody talking about physical limitations
Yep.
in their life. That story resonates with a lot of people, right?
Sure.
So, is that the target market that you're searching for to tell that story to other business owners, or is it other people with physical limitations that just want to hang out with their kids and grandkids?
Sure.
If that's the case, then LinkedIn is not for you, right? So, you need to focus on, say, Instagram and Facebook instead.
Right.
So, I teach all those platforms so that people can focus on where their customers are and spend the time exactly where they need to. And usually, I tell people you should be able to do all the marketing in your business in 15 minutes a day.
Wow.
And if it's not, you're taking longer, it's probably because you're scrolling your Facebook feed rather than getting the work done.
Well, or me, I end up down a rabbit hole somewhere with one option that I choose, and then I get down a rabbit hole, and then I'm hitting reverse to click back out of it, 10, 15 times, and going, how did I get down here? I don't know what to, and then I click the button, and then my screen, I see this cloud of a nuclear explosion that I just blew something up, and so that's my fear, is that I get in there. And how many of you have a fear like that? You get in there and you don't know what to do. You don't know which button to push. And when you do finally decide to press the button, you feel like the whole earth is going to blow up or the platform is going to come down, and you just don't know. And so, Joe, what you've done is you've broken it down into simple forms. And, I will tell you that, like my niece, when she is on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't need to be on TikTok. That's for, it's not even the millennials. It's what is the group that's younger than the millennials? They're the teens right now. But that's not true. There are people that are creating, because of the algorithm, a really great audience. And the audience is not just local, it's national and international. And I'm just blown away. But here's the thing, you know why I haven't done it, Joe? I don't know what to do if I were to get on there. I actually have a TikTok account, okay? A friend of mine made me open an account. It's still sitting there. I think I set up my name in there, and I've done nothing with it. So if I had someone that just gave me, Steve, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it took me 5 or 10 minutes to do it, guess what? I'd probably do it. But since I haven't, guess what? So I'm missing an audience that maybe my brand of climbing up the side of mountains with 50-pound sand sacks on my back might go, hey, that's pretty cool. Or maybe this guy's an idiot, but I like watching him because, it's funny to see him sliding around in the snow, Texan up in Oregon, So Joe, here's the thing is, a lot of the individuals that are on here are authors. And I mentioned this to Phil. I know you do these classes that are in general for all people that are kind of in business. But if we ended up with a large enough specific audience that committed to one of your live events, would you be willing to do a kind of a custom presentation for individuals that are just authors that want to take that particular niche and either get to a local audience or get to a specific audience that's inside of a social network platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've actually done that before, not with authors, but with lots of industries where they'll put together a room of people, and I can do it, just on Zoom like this, and we could spend some extended time together, and I'll give you the exact direction of how to reach people, because authors typically aren't just selling to their local market, right? They're selling to a national or international market.
Right.
And the platforms can be, all platforms can be used, other than Google My Business. Google My Business, the only reason that you would have a Google My Business page as an author is really for reviews, right? So outside of Amazon's platform or something like that, you want to have reviews on your book, you could do that with Google My Business. And because it's a Google page, it's searched now you can actually find it nationally if people are searching for the exact name, right? So if
Right.
you type in Do Work University, for example, I've tuned it for Idaho, but
Sure.
everybody across the country can find Do Work University. Go look at my Google reviews.
So if we tuned one of these, and does Google My Business just work for the US or is it North America? What's its limitation?
Whole world. Yeah.
It does work for the whole world.
I
Okay.
regularly teach workshops, and I used to teach a lot of them in Australia.
Okay.
So they work really well there. New Zealand, obviously, I'm limited because I only speak English. So
Sure. Right.
luckily, most people have been taught English in school these days.
Right.
But so I did teach a class for,
Okay.
I think there was probably 100 people in France. So
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, I speak Texan, and so some of the Australians deal with that pretty good. So that's, it's kind of, I guess it's a dialect of English or something like that. But anyway, Joe, so what we'll do is I'll send this out a replay. And then what I'll do is I'll try to do a poll and see how many individuals I can get together, because the combination of Google My Business and some of the other platforms, I think, you'd be able to find individuals that need what you're talking about, which is, that 5 minutes, like how many minutes did you say a day or a week that you said you should be spending no more than 5 a day, or 15 a week?
It's 15 minutes a day. Once all your profiles are set up everywhere that you want, like say LinkedIn and Alignable, if you're doing B2B, if you're an author, really, you're going to be wanting to look at like YouTube would be Facebook, Instagram, and then TikTok. You're talking about the age of TikTok. TikTok is the average age of a TikTok user is 35 years old. So that perception that it's young kids is really not, for some of us, that's a young kid, but 35 years old, Facebook is only 43, right? So, kind of look at your audience, who you're targeting with your messaging, and my contact, pretty easy. Joe Mikitish, look me up on LinkedIn, connect with me, and send me any questions you have. That's the best way to get a hold of me, actually.
Thank you, Josh. That was the next question I was going to say, is how can these authors or other individuals that are part of our replay or whatever, how can they connect with you? So your LinkedIn is the best way for them to connect. Good. Okay, perfect. All right.
Steve,
Go ahead, Lisa.
I think a perfect handle for you will be follow on TikTok will be follow the Texan in Oregon.
Right. That was watching me get up on the side of the mountain in some snow that had some slick ice underneath it. I've skied years and years ago, but that is totally something that a Texan doesn't have skills on, because I know how to deal with 110-degree heat, but dealing with 20 degrees and slick snow, and I'm watching these other people run down the mountain next to me, and I slipped and busted my butt is what I did. And so I'm wondering if there's some skill set that obviously I've missed, or maybe they have special shoes that no one told me about. I don't know, but that's part of the thing, Lisa. So I want to thank you, Joe, for hanging out with us, and everyone can look up Joe Mikitish on LinkedIn, and you can Google him as well. And so what we'll do is we'll have you back, Joe, and let you share a little more here and there as it works. I want to be able to help each one of these individuals that are exceptional. They have amazing stories. I'm talking, stories that just blow your mind. And here's the thing: each one of us have our own audience, and sometimes they overlap. Most of the time, your audience is waiting for you to come and inspire them. And the only way we're going to reach this world that needs motivation, you got to think about, we're dealing with a level of depression and anxiety and panic that is at a stage that we have never seen before on our planet right now. I'm a person that doesn't watch the news, the standard news channels, because of the sensationalism. They make money because they feed off of your panic and anxiety. I don't allow that to happen to me, because I need to stay focused. And my mind can't focus if it's disrupted and distracted by whatever the new thing that this other quote unquote expert has decided to blather about, which will probably be false and disproven within 3 days to 3 weeks. So I can't let myself constantly be yanked around from side to side like that. So I keep my mind focused on what I can do to help me keep my health, to keep my immune system up, And whether that's working out or taking the right supplements or watching my diet, getting the right amount of rest, all those things are things that no one's talking about on the news. Okay. You got to push your own immune system to its maximum. Okay. Better than you've ever done before. That means discipline. And if you're pushing your immune system to its best, then you're going to have the best line of defense against whatever the next variant that's coming around the corner. So I want you to do that. And some of the things that I do also is I use Wim Hof as a breathing system, because not only is that helping my immune system, it's also helping my lungs, which is where this entire SARS-2 COVID attacks us, in our lungs. So the stronger you can get your lungs, the better you'll have as a defense if and when, let's put it this way. It's not if, it's just when, because all of us will eventually get it. Okay. That's just going to happen. So the thing is, you want to have yourself at the optimum level of health that you can. So my point is how do you focus on that? Well, you got to focus on having an information diet. You have to restrict those things that distract and disrupt us, keeping your focus on the things that I'm going to teach you coming this next year on Rubicon, which is how to build your ultimate end, okay, which is your gravestone, okay? It's called the Gravestone Experience. And if some of you have been onto Better Each Day or the Rubicon Performance, you'll see that I actually put a brand new PDF there. I believe I put it up yesterday or the day before, which is my smallest manual. And it gives you an idea of how to start using the PDF. Now, the PDF called Compass, I'll share with you. I'm going to modify it a little bit because I built it 5 years ago based on Matt Morris, and how someone in his organization would use that little paper device broken into 6 different sessions to help them focus on their business. So that was where Matt and I were going with it 5 years ago, is using that system to help people grow their own business. So I'm going to modify that a little bit here over the next week between now and end of the year, so you can have kind of a blank slate, and then you can modify it to your own personal system. So the last thing I want to jump on here is next Monday, okay, for some of you will be, I think that'll be the day after Christmas. I'm going to have this call. A lot of you are going to have families, so you're going to have priorities. I get that. But I'll be here, and a few of us will be here. We'll be here sharing our gratefulness, focusing on prepping the objective, focusing on becoming better each day. If you can't make it next week, that's okay. We'll be here. We'll be here the Monday after New Year's. And then we'll be here every single week for, for 52 weeks out of 2022. So make it, post it on your schedule if you can, and be here with us. If not, I'll post it for the replay. And I want each of you to have an amazing holiday period, and look forward to having a happy new year with you. And the opportunities and challenges in front of us are to allow us to become our better version and be better each day. Love you guys. See you.
Thank you so much, Steve. Have a Merry Christmas. Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Steve.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.